Happy New Year.
We're so glad that you made it. What an amazing story. One person believed in him. And that's what he needed. He couldn't do it on his own at first. He was having a hard time. He quit trying. He settled. And yet, one person believed in him. And that's all he needed to encourage him to at least try. I just thought that was so appropriate with it being a new year and what we're going to be talking about today. But this idea of simply trying again. Even when we've tried and tried and tried and have failed. One more chance, one more possibility, one more opportunity. And that's what we do here. We come together and we believe in each other. We come together and we encourage each other. We come together and we hold each other here at Unity Center for Spiritual Growth. Because sometimes when we fall, a little word of encouragement, a hug, something that can help and support us, to touch that thing that we all share, that we all have in common, is such a powerful, powerful motivator. And here's the thing. Every single person in here can do that. Every single person watching us online can be that motivator, can be that call. And so as you look at 2021 with all this crazy stuff that's going on, just understand the light that you have the potential to be. Each and every one of you has the potential to be that kind of a light. And so I want to welcome you. I'm so glad you're here. I'm so excited to be spending this time with you this morning and really throughout the course of the entire year. So welcome to Unity Center for Spiritual Growth. Today's daily word is potential. Growing up, I received encouragement from my family, school teachers, and other adults in my life. Their positive, affirming words helped me to pursue my passions and trust my gifts so I might realize my potential. Now that I'm older, I turn to the divine within me to discern how I might best fulfill my potential. I prayerfully ask what possibilities remain to be realized in my life. I really like that line. I prayerfully ask what possibilities remain to be realized in my life. What ignites my passion for self-expression? I receive inspiration from the time I spend in prayer. As I pray, any lingering thoughts of doubt or insecurity are replaced with renewed energy and enthusiasm. Nothing can stop me from stepping out boldly into the world to fulfill my potential. And from Philippians 4:13, I can do all things through him who strengthens me. And together we say, yes, I am able, yes, I can. So I know in the e-news there was a title for the talk and it had something to do with prosperity. But as usually happens, I sit down, I go to prepare for the talk, and everything changes. And everything changes. And I started thinking about this time of year. The thing that came to my mind was reflection. And truly how powerful reflection can be. You know, last week, Charles did the service on the burning bowl, and that's where we get together and we burn and we let go of the things that we no longer want in our life. But with the power of reflection, you have to understand this is a tool that can be used over and over and over again, and should be used over and over and over again. How many people do reflection on a regular basis? Yeah. The happiest people I know use this tool on a regular, ongoing basis. The most successful people I know and read about do this and use this tool on a regular and ongoing basis. They'll do it weekly, they do it monthly, some cases quarterly, and they'll do it annually. They do it over and over and over and over again. Why? Why is the power of reflection? Why is reflection so powerful? Any thoughts? It anchors you? Anybody else? Any thoughts? It's a review. It can be a review. Yeah. You can make a course correction. I love that one. Yeah. There's so much. And my hope today is just having a conversation of it inspires you, if you will, especially with this time of year. You know, this time of year we sit down, a lot of people, not everybody, I get it, and we sit down and we look at the new year that's coming up and we say, oh, what do I want to do in this year? And we set all of these goals, and I think that's great. But my question is, have you stopped and looked at what just happened the previous year? Sometimes we forget to do that. We forget to ask our questions, what's working? What's not working? And a whole bunch more. And we're going to talk about that. So why reflection? Well, some pretty famous people have made some pretty big statements about reflecting. Plato says, an unexamined life is not worth living for a human being. In the Bible, it says, examine yourself to see whether or not you are in faith. Test yourselves. Or do you not realize this about yourself, that Christ is within you? Bible says that. Pretty powerful. Margaret Wheatley, a famous author, said, without reflection, we go blindly on our way, creating more unintended consequences and failing to achieve anything useful. Failing to achieve anything useful. Iana Van Zant says, the journey into self-love and self-acceptance must begin with self-examination. Until you take the journey of self-reflection, it is almost impossible to grow or learn in life. Impossible to learn or grow in life without self-reflection. John Izzo, I'm going to be talking about him in a minute. He wrote a really amazing book. He says, unless you're continually, examining your life to make sure it is on target, is your life on target? There's a very good chance that you will wind up living somebody else's life. Which means coming to the end of your life and realizing that you had followed a path that was not your own. Question: are you following a path that's not your own? Something to think about, right? To me, I'm going to echo everything that everybody said. It's an evaluation. It's a time to do a course correction. It's a time where you can sit down and maybe get a different perspective on what's going on in your life and the stuff that's happening. To look at the things that you really, really like and maybe want more of, and maybe things that you don't want more of. It's so broad. You can look at so many different things, but my experience has been that you have to take the time to sit down and actually do it. That's where the power comes in, is sitting down and actually doing it on a regular basis. So I have a question for you. Why don't we do it more often? And as I thought about that question for myself, it really came down to one word. Anyone care to take a guess at what the one word is? Faith? It wasn't for me. Busy? These are all good, by the way. I don't want to discourage any comments here. Nope. Pain. Pain. What do you mean pain? Well, I look back at the times in my life where I wasn't doing a lot of self-reflection, and the truth was there was pain. I didn't want to look at it. Why? Because I was standing at a place in my life where I wasn't really feeling good about things that were going on. In some cases, I felt like I was defeated. In some cases, I felt like there was nothing that I could do. In some cases, it felt like I was a victim. And I simply didn't want to take a look at what was going on. Has anybody ever been there? Is anybody there now with any part of their life? Let's just be honest. Maybe, right? But I found for myself when I wasn't doing a lot of reflection, it was because there was pain. And I didn't feel like there was anything that I could do. And ultimately, I had to ask myself the question, why bother? Why bother? Nothing I can do about it. Why bother? Right? Myrtle Fillmore, in one of my favorite quotes of all time, spoke into this indirectly, but I think it's so powerful to hear this. Myrtle says, "Where am I in the world of effects depends on who I think I am." I'm going to read that again because I really want you to hear it because it is powerful. This one phrase, if taken, could literally transform your entire life. And I mean that sincerely. Listen to it again. Where I am in the world of effects, in other words, everything that's going on in my life that's happening right now, and my ability to be able to do something about it comes down to one thing and one thing only: who I think I am. If I could drop the mic, I'd drop the mic. That's incredible to think about that. I don't know about you, but in my life, there's like this eyeball test that I do, right? I look at different things that are going on in my life, and I kind of, it's kind of like, I got that one. I can handle that one, but that one? How many people do that, right? You look at the things that are going on in your life, and it's like, I can change this one. This one I got. This one isn't a problem. This one, though, there is nothing I can do about that, right? And I just want to speak into that for a minute. Look, I'm not talking about things that we have no control over. None. My mom passed this year. I miss her. And I think to myself, is there anything I can do about that? No. And so I go through my process. So I'm not talking about things I have no control over, but I'm telling you, in my life, my experience has taught me that there was way too many times when I simply gave up and didn't think there was anything that I could do about it because of who and what I thought I was. I was scared. I was afraid. I had no self-confidence and belief in myself. And anything that would come up and get in my way would completely and totally shut me down. That's the way it used to be. And so doing something like this, are you kidding me? Never. Never in a million years. Was not going to happen. And I look at that, and I just think when Myrtle made that quote, when she said that, it all depends on who I think I am. And I'm going to keep saying that. Who do you think you are? Who do you think you are? Who do you think you are? Whose opinion of you are you using? Are you using your egos? Or do I dare to say, are you using God's? Whose opinion of you are you using? When things come up in our lives and they're big, I just want you to think about that. Are you looking at this thing that's going on in your life through the eyes of your ego, which says, no, you can't. There's nothing you can do about it. There's nothing you can change about it. There's absolutely nothing. Just like the guy in the video, right? He didn't believe for a moment that he could do anything to change the situation. And God knows all the doctors and everybody in society did what? What did they do to him? Oh, you've jumped out of an airplane so many times, and you're getting older. Let's face it, you're getting older. And let's face it, I just start slowing down. And it's okay if you're putting on a few pounds, and it's okay if you're not able to move around, and if it's okay if you don't get to spend the time with your loved ones the way that you want to. It's okay. Doesn't society have a tendency to do that to us? Even the people that love us. It's okay. It really is okay. Is it? Is it really okay? And these are the things, again, I understand, things you can control and things you can't control. But I really question that. And I think this video is such a beautiful example where he's being told by everybody, there is nothing that you can do about your circumstances. Nothing. And it took one person to say, wait a minute. Wait a minute. There is something you can do about it. And then what did he do? He did what the guy told him to do, and he started changing his life, right? What happens is we get to the point in our life where once we get to the why bother stage, then we kick into the next stage where we give up and we start to settle. Anybody been there? We settle. We give up. There's nothing I can do. We have to settle. And then all of a sudden, things start to slow down, slow down, slow down. Right? So, the point of the talk today is to share with you this idea of reflection. So let's say that you're, okay, Mike, maybe this reflection thing might be something I should consider doing more often. Or maybe it's something I should start doing. Then the question comes into, well, what do I reflect upon? Sounds like a simple question, right? Is it? Is it really? So I just want to share with you some thoughts on some things that I've started to reflect on over the last couple of years. So the first thing that I start off with during this process is I look at what's going on in my life and I really simply ask this question. Is this what I want? Is this what I want in my life? And if it is, then great. Right? Well, what are some of those areas? Now, as a life coach, I will tell you that you can go into online anywhere, any place, anytime. If you type in the words wheel of life, that they will show you all different areas of your life where you can really start asking those questions. They'll go through over things like, for example, your friends and your family, your relationships with everybody that you know, including God. Yeah? Your romance, your finances, your health. So there's a bunch of different wheels of life out there, but I'm just sharing that with you as a reference, that if you wanted to go in and pull it up online, you'll get a lot of ideas in terms of different areas of your life that you can start looking at and saying, this is cool. It's a really good start. I would suggest starting there. Maybe not a bad idea. But then there's some other ones that I've kind of added to my list as time has gone on. Here's one, really simple question. Are you happy? Are you? If you are, then cool. If you're not, might want to slow down and take a look at that, right? How about this one? Are you living your life authentically? Are you living your path, your truth, according to the way that you want to live your life? One of the greatest examples for me of somebody who has stayed true to their truest north is sitting in this room right here, right now. And I've been blessed to know him as a friend for many, many years, and that's Charles Frost. Charles has lived his life as only Charles could live his life. And for anybody that has the pleasure of knowing him or spending some time with him, it is a beautiful story. When everything in life was telling him, don't do this, guess what he did? He did it. He went on the road. He shared what was in his heart and soul. Even though his training, his education, and everything else told him, go this way, Charles went that way. And he lived a very beautiful, rewarding, incredible life, sharing his passion with people all over the country for close to 20 years. Long time. Long time. It's a beautiful example. I already mentioned this one. What's working in your life? What's working? What's not working? Right? More questions. What do you want more of? Want more love, more prosperity, more health, more joy, more fun? You want more of it? How about, what do you want less of? What do you want less of? The author, John Izzo, wrote a book that is an amazing book that you're not going to be able to see on the screen, but I'm just going to share this with you. It's called The 5 Secrets You Must Discover Before You Die. And what did he do? He spent time interviewing hundreds of people from all walks of life who are up there in age, into their 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s. And he asked them some really simple questions. What is it at this point in time that you wished you would have focused on instead of what you did? What would you have done differently? And it came down to basically 5 things, and I want to share those things with you this morning. First of all, I already mentioned this. Number 1, to ask yourself this question: are you being true to yourself? Are you being true to yourself? And in order to answer that question, guess what you have to do more of? Reflection. And you got to know who and what you are. Who is your true self? I'm going to admit something to you, that there was times in my life where I didn't even know who I was to be able to answer that question. Now I'm totally on fire doing what I want to do. This is part of one of the things that I love to do. One of my greatest blessings. And I'm able to go share what I believe is in my heart and soul that I was meant to share by doing this one thing. And then I also do some life coaching, but then I also get to do a lot of other really fun things. But everything that I do is coming down to inspiring people and helping them remember who and what they are. More specifically, about their divinity. That's what's true for me. And that's what I continue to do more of in my life, is look for the things that I'm doing. And here's the other thing I want to tell you. I don't necessarily care what your age is. I don't care if you're 5 or 105. You still can answer those questions. Are you living true to yourself? Are you living true to who and what you are? But it takes a moment. It takes reflection to figure out if you're doing that or not, right? The second thing, are you leaving no regrets? Are you leaving no regrets? In other words, are you doing what you really, really, really want to do? And sometimes that's going to involve taking some risks. Trusting. I'm sure if I were to go back in the room and ask Charles and bring him up here and say, hey, Charles, when you started going on the road, did you think you were going to be able to do it? Did you know that you were going to be cared for? Did you know all of those things? And the answer was probably going to be, well, just thought I'd figure it out and trust. In other words, he took a risk. And in life, guess what? There's some times when we got to take a risk. So are you taking enough risks in your life so that you leave no regrets? There's a famous exercise where it's called the rocking chair exercise that Tony Robbins does. Tony Robbins says, I just want you to imagine this. It's at the end of your life and you're sitting in a rocking chair. Look back on your life and think about it. When something is a decision needs to be made on doing something, are you going to regret not doing it? Are you going to regret not doing it? Right? Here's another one. Are you choosing love more often than not? It's really simple. Love. Is that one thing that you're choosing more often than not? And we all have a different meaning. We all have a different feeling. And in my opinion, applying the thought of love is much more different for each one of us, depending on what the circumstances are. But what these people said over and over and over again, that when you actually decided to come from a place of love versus everything else, fear, hate, regret, anger, frustration, that when you came from there, they just wish they would have chosen love. Because in every one of those situations, and there's way, way more, when you come from love, in my opinion, I never regret coming from love. Never. Doesn't happen. Right? The fourth secret. Are you taking time to smell the roses along the way? Oh, I can look back at my life and I can share with you the times where I've been, even now, there's times when I'm busy. And I find myself as I get older just slowing down and making sure that I'm really spending some time and enjoying it and appreciating it. Several people have come up to me and asked me, well, how are your holidays? And I've told them, in some ways, not a lot of fun because of the fact that it was the first time I had to celebrate it without my mom. I mentioned that to you. But and COVID, and so I wasn't able to spend the time that I normally like to spend with my family and friends. But there's also another side of that, which is what I was really able to do, which I loved. It was I was able to slow down enough because we weren't running all over the state seeing all my friends and family. I was actually able to slow down enough to really spend some incredible time with my wife and with the handful of people that I did get to spend it with. I mean, just generally appreciate the season, appreciate their company, appreciate the things that we did together, appreciate Christmas, appreciate snow, appreciate the whole thing. So I was able to really slow down and smell the roses. And so the idea of just taking enough time, are you taking enough time to appreciate what's going on in this life? Because guess what? You're never going to be able to come back here and redo it again. Enjoy it. Every single aspect of it, even those pieces that we don't care for. It's life. Live it. Embrace it to the highest level that you possibly can. The fifth secret. Are you being of service? Are you being of service? Are you contributing to something that you care about, that you love? I know many people in this room are volunteers here, and for that, we are incredibly grateful and we are incredibly blessed. So thank you. And so my question is, though, is and are you being of service? These people felt like that was a really big thing. Being of service, right? All right. So, what I'd like to do with you is to take a moment, and what I want to do is do a little meditation, and we're going to have a little bit of time to do a little bit of reflection. Maybe get the pump primed, so to speak. So, right? There you go. Thank you. So let's sit back in our chairs and maybe rest our eyes for a moment. Maybe start off by taking a few deep breaths in, letting it out. Take another deep breath in, Let it out. Maybe one more deep breath in and let it out. Start to get comfortable in your chair. Wiggle your bodies, wiggle your toes and your hands. Just make yourself comfortable. Let the day go. Become still and centered. Imagine yourself connecting with that part of you that we love to connect with. Ourself. Some would call it our soul. And just relax into it. And just slow down. Slow everything down. Tell your mind to slow down. And now that you're connected with yourself, also invite in Source, God. Say a little prayer, whatever your little prayer is. And now I'm just going to encourage you. Imagine, if you will, that you can become the observer of your life. In other words, you're not stuck in the middle of it, you're actually above it. And you get to observe yourself. And you get to observe all the different parts of your life. You get to observe the parts that are going well, parts that you love, parts that make you happy. And then, without judgment or shame or blame, again, you get to be the observer. And you can look at those parts of your life that maybe aren't working. Or maybe need healing. They need some time, need some attention. And even if you're afraid to look at those places, it's okay. You're safe here. Let yourself guide you to what it is that you need to look at. Maybe even ask yourself, what do I need to look at? What would be a really good thing for me to look at? Or what would the really good things be to look at? And just pay attention. And go with it. Just continue to observe. Observe where your mind is taking you. And if you get off track, it's okay. Just come back. Think about this question. What is it that I really want in my life? Maybe I have it, but I want more of it. Maybe I don't have it at all. Maybe I'm afraid to try again. Just spend a few more seconds, a little bit more time. If you can, make a mental note so you can come back here. And now as we begin to wrap things up, maybe thank yourself, your soul. Thank God, Source. Slowly start to come back into the room, back into your body. Start to wiggle your toes, your hands. And when you're ready to, open your eyes. Any surprises? Any ahas? Any awarenesses? Reflection is an amazing, amazing, amazing tool to use. It's a powerful tool when we use it. My hope and prayer for you is that today I've given you something to think about. I've given you something to process, especially at this time of the year. I think that what happens for me is that I get caught up in life and I don't think it's necessarily important to take the time to reflect. And as I was preparing for this talk, all of a sudden I realized, hey, Mike, are you reflecting as much as you need to be able to reflect? And I have to be honest that there's some things in my life that I want to start looking at again, a little bit more. I'm really blessed. I really, really am. And yet there's a part of me, lots of parts of me, from the relationship with my wife to the relationship with God to an understanding that I can really have everything that I've been promised because of who and what I am, which is the divine. There's no limits on that. And it's the same thing that each and every one of you are, is divine. There's no limits on that. None. And so as I prepare for this year and everything that is to come, I sit there and I ask myself this question, hey, Mike, where in your life are you not acting like that? Where are you not believing that? Where are the blocks that are slowing you down from things that you want to experience and things that you want to have in your life? Where is that happening? Let's go there and see what you're telling yourself. In other words, am I seeing this thing that's going on in my life through the eyes of my ego, or am I seeing it through the eyes of the Christ, of the divine? And so I leave you with that. Play with it. You are amazing. You are beautiful. You are powerful beyond your wildest understanding. Do not give up. Do not settle. Do not think that you're too old and nothing is ever going to change. Because you're powerful. Your thoughts are real things. They matter. Literally, your thoughts create matter. That's what they do. Have fun with this. Don't make it too heavy. Nothing should be too heavy. But yet, if there's something for you to work on, be honest. Get real. Just go, hey, okay, probably should be looking at this thing. It's okay. We all have our stuff, don't we? And it's all good. And in the meantime, we're here for you. We love you. We support you. We believe in you. And we are always going to acknowledge the divinity within you. We are never, ever, ever going to stop believing in you, ever. We'll never stop acknowledging the divinity in each and every one of you. You too. Happy New Year, everybody. God bless.